Welcome back on Heal Out Loud. This is episode 6, and today we're going to talk about how to attract the relationship of your dreams. So basically, a lot of people talk about wanting to be in a relationship where the other person is treating you kindly, where the other person is showing you and showering you with lots of love, where the other person is treating you, showing up for you, where there's this loving, fulfilling relationship. And as we spoke last week in one of the episodes, the brain is divided into two parts. The subconscious brain, which makes up 95% of our brain, and the conscious brain, the one that I'm using now to talk here. Basically, the conscious brain, the 5% of your brain, might want a loving, fulfilling relationship where you're happy, where you're secure, where you're in this amazing partnership, where you're caring for each other, loving each other. And every time you try and get into a relationship, you start realizing that there's wounds coming up, there's insecurities coming up, anger, resentment, division, lack of trust, lack of forgiveness. So the way to attract the relationship of your dreams is by rewiring our subconscious brain. A lot of people talk about wanting to find the right partner, wanting to find a kind and loving partner. As I explained earlier, the conscious mind would want a healthy, loving relationship. Unfortunately, in our subconscious brain, there are programmings from the past, there's wiring from the past, there's wounds from the past, wounds from our childhood, that in order to attract the relationship of our dreams, we have to rewire our subconscious brain. A lot of people talk about wanting to find the right partner, wanting to be with the right partner. They talk about how they always attract the wrong people, how they're so unlucky because they never found the right person. But in order to attract the relationship of your dreams, in order to attract the partner that you truly want, you must first become it. And I know right now you might be rolling your eyes and saying, but I'm an amazing partner. I give them so much love. I shower them with so much love. I'm always available. I'm always consistent. I put more energy on them than on me. And in all of this, I do believe that of course, you have good qualities that you're sharing in relationships, but I want you to start becoming aware of your patterns too. I want you to start becoming aware that you are not a victim of your circumstances. Once upon a time, when you were a kid, yes, you were a victim to what was happening to you. But as an adult, it is your responsibility to heal the wounds that are still making you act from a self-centered space, from a space of always thinking that bad things are going to happen to you, where you don't trust women or where you don't trust men. Becoming that person that you want to attract in your life, becoming that person first, is going to take some work. It's nothing out of this world. It's nothing that involves checklists, to-do lists, waking up an hour earlier, sleeping an hour later, not going out with friends, not doing this, not doing that, not at all. But it's very important that you start off with this first suggestion, and that is to speak to yourself kindly, to speak to yourself the way you would want your partner to speak to you. If every time you go in front of the mirror, the first thing that you start saying to yourself is, I don't like my eyes, I don't like my hair, I have this pimple, I hate my nose, I hate my chin, I hate this, I hate that, I wish I was 2 sizes smaller, I wish I had bigger this and bigger that. If this is the way you're constantly speaking to yourself every time you go in front of a mirror, then the energy that you're sending out there is that I am not good enough. I do not deserve good things, and you will end up attracting someone who's going to reflect just that. If you want a partner who treats you kindly, who speaks to you kindly, who's loving, who treats you, someone who gives you gifts, someone who's planning stuff with you, you need to start doing these things for yourself first. Step 1 is to create the kindness, the love that you're trying to receive from outside of you within you first. If there's this fear that it's not safe for you to be around people because you always end up heartbroken, if there's this fear that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, the first thing that we need to create is that safety in our body. And we create that safety by following step 1, by being kinder to ourselves, by speaking to yourself kindly, by doing things that are going to help you feel better rather than worse. You can start asking yourself, is this thing raising my energy or draining it? If that thing is draining your energy, whether it is meeting with your family, meeting with your friends, your job, anything that drains your energy, you need to find a way around it on how you either shift your mindset, if it's your job and you can't leave your job right now or you can't find a new job right now, shift your mindset to, I get to go to my job, not I have to go to my job. My job is paying my bills. I meet my colleagues, which some of them I really enjoy spending time with. My job makes me get up every morning and dress nicely and go outside and meet people. Like, you need to start shifting your mindset. If it's meeting your family that's draining your energy, or if it's meeting your friends that's draining your energy, I'm pretty sure you have friends that do not drain your energy. You need to start saying yes to yourself more and no to others. No to anything or anyone that drains your energy. The more you treat yourself kindly, the more you speak to yourself in a kind manner, the more you do things that are going to raise your energy, the more you're going to start exploring things that you really enjoy. Maybe sign up for hobbies. Get out of your comfort zone. Go and do something that you've been wanting to do for a long time and you didn't have the balls to do it. Where you start choosing to spend your weekends or your free time with doing things that you enjoy and not just doing things that everybody else enjoys, but you always leave your needs and wants behind. Once you start doing this, once you start treating yourself in this manner, then it's going to become safer for you to attract a person that you truly desire because you've already been doing these things for yourself. And something that I really like to tell all my clients is if you're hungry, if you've been in the desert and you haven't had food for a week or two, comes and offers you some breadcrumbs, you're gonna eat them because you're starving. But if you've been eating a very well-balanced diet, if you haven't been starving, when someone's gonna offer you breadcrumbs, you're gonna be like, nah, don't worry, I already had steak at home, thank you. So what am I trying to explain by this is that the more energy you pour into yourself, the more kindness you pour into yourself, the more love you pour into yourself, the less you're gonna accept crumbs from people, the less you're going to accept the bare minimum. You haven't been attending to your loneliness wound that you carry from childhood. If you've just been so desperate to be with someone because you don't know how to hold yourself, then the first person that comes your way, maybe you don't even like this person as much. Maybe they have a lifestyle that you know that definitely it's not something that you like. However, since you're so lonely, since you're so desperate of having someone to save you, you end up accepting this. But you know that these aren't things that you're able to live with. If the person has these qualities right now, these qualities are going to get worse and worse in the future. This idea that you can change someone and this idea that you can save someone, the situation is going to get worse because now there's attachment, now there's love, now there's a routine that you create together. What you're avoiding now, you're going to have to face later on, and this is going to hurt even more than how much it's hurting now. So this idea that you're Bob the Builder, that you can save people, that you can fix people, I want you to stop trying to save people outside of you and instead take all that energy and heal yourself, turn it inward. Instead of trying to save others, take all this energy and focus on your own saving, because nobody can save you except yourself. And no one can save others except themselves. I used to be this person, the savior, the looking for projects, of course, without me knowing. This used to happen unknowingly. This used to happen from my subconscious brain because that's the life I've lived growing up. I tried to save my mom. I tried to save my grandma. I've spent since I was a little kid trying to save my mom, trying to show her that she's loved, trying to let her know how much I needed her, how much my sisters needed her, how much we loved her, how much we adored her, how much we prayed to have her back home, how much we prayed that she manages to reunite all the family back together, me and my sisters especially. And then when she passed away, in a way that I always feared she would, from an overdose, this story in my life taught me and helped me realize further that we cannot save anyone, no matter how much we try to save them. The only person that we can save is ourselves. And you know how hard sometimes it is to get yourself out of a destructive rut. You know how hard it is sometimes to save yourself, so let alone others. right? So when people talk about they need to love themselves more, or when people tell you need to love yourself first, I used to hear this all the time. I was like, okay, how? What do I need to do? I take the bubble baths, I put salts in my bubble baths, I do a face mask, I go for a jog, I go for a walk, I go to the gym, I go to yoga, I meditate, I journal. I've been reading self-help books, but what do you mean I need to love myself more? And loving yourself is not about the face mask. It's not about the bubble baths. It's not about going to the gym. It's not about just cooking nourishing foods. Yes, all of this is really going to help. But this is not the self-love that you need to attract the partner of your dreams, the relationship of your dreams. The type of self-love and self-care that you need is to become aware of the voices in your head. If the voices in your head from as soon as you wake up until the moment that you go to sleep, and then it's replayed in your dreams, is the type of voice that's constantly telling you you're not good enough. There's something wrong with you. You're not loved. You're not going to get the life of your dreams. Nobody loves you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody wants you. There's something inherently wrong with you. You look fat. You look too thin. You're too dark. You're too pale. You're too bubbly. You're too loud. You're too quiet. You're such an introvert. You're such an extrovert. These are the voices that are constantly going on inside of your head. And trust me, we all have that bully inside of our heads. We all have this voice inside of our heads. It's just, for some people, it's louder because of what they endured in the past, in their childhood. Those people who had a more secure upbringing in their childhood, they do not have such a strong bully voice in their head. But we still, all of us, we all have this voice, this bully voice in our head. It's just how we deal with it that matters. So the way that you talk to yourself, if you do not talk to yourself with kindness, with love, with respect, you could be in a bubble bath full of salts. You could be meditating. You could be wearing a face mask and still feeling really low, still feeling really disappointed in yourself. You can be out with friends laughing. You can be watching your favorite TV show. And mentally, you could still be beating yourself up with all the things that you aren't. The type of self-love that you need to focus on is not in the bubble baths, it's not in the meditation, it's not in the journaling. It's about speaking kindly to yourself. And at first, it's going to feel really weird. At first, when you're going to go in front of the mirror, the first thing that's going to come up is you pointing out your defects to yourself. What you think that is not beautiful in you, most probably other people look at and think, wow, so I love how this man shows up. I love the exotic look of this woman. So the first thing that you need to start off with is speaking kindly to yourself. And this can look like going in front of the mirror and the first thought that comes up is, oh, I hate my face. And instead you say to yourself, what is a thought I'd rather think? What is something that's going to make me feel better about myself? And that is maybe focusing on something that you really like about yourself. Maybe it's your lips, maybe it's your nose, maybe it's your eye. I'm pretty sure if you close your eyes now and just think of something that you really love about yourself, you will find more than one. So that can look like shifting that negative thought, that negative voice of when you look at yourself in front of the mirror to realizing and pointing out the beauty in you. Or maybe if you feel that you're not at your desired weight yet, to realize that, listen, this excess body weight that I don't love, at the same time it's giving me something. It's protecting my womb. It's protecting me from feeling cold. And again, you're not saying this to stop working towards your dreams and goals. You're going to shift how you talk to yourself, because the kinder you are towards yourself, the more kindness and compassion you express towards yourself, the easier for you it is going to feel to continue working towards your dreams and goals. If you are going to get stuck in a loop of shaming and blaming yourself, you're going to feel worse. And if you had a problem today with, maybe you went inside your kitchen and you demolished the whole cupboard, maybe you were binge eating today, the more you're going to shame and blame yourself, the more you're going to feel disgusted towards yourself, the more you're going to feel like a failure because of what happened today after you promised yourself that you're not going to repeat the same cycle of yesterday. You're just going to eat more. You're just going to binge more. You're just going to do the thing that you don't want to do even more. So what speaking kindly to yourself in this moment could look like, it's something like this. okay, I didn't manage to stick to my word today. I'm feeling upset about it. And I'm aware that I want to improve this. I want to work on this. But the past is gone. I am not going to get it back. No matter how much I'm going to shame and blame myself. I am aware that I don't want to do this again. I don't want to repeat this cycle. But clearly, something inside me was craving some sort of comfort. The food I was eating, the food I was binging on, I was doing it because I was trying to find some comfort. It's okay that I didn't manage to stick to my word. It's okay. This is a new minute. This is a new hour. And I'm going to focus on this hour now. It's okay. I've been through a lot. What I was really hungry for, maybe it was love, maybe it was attention, maybe it was company. And I didn't find these outside of me. So I tried to fill that cup with food. But now I know that the only way I can fill this, the only way I can deal with this loneliness and heal this loneliness is by sitting with myself. And ask yourself, what am I really hungry for in these moments? What am I really looking for in these moments? And don't get me wrong, as I explained earlier, we all have this bully voice inside our head, and this voice comes from the subconscious brain, from experiences that we've been through, from experiences that we've gone through as kids, from words that we've heard from our parents, from our caretakers, from teachers at school, from other kids at school, from the abuse you might endured, physical, verbal, sexual. We all have this voice in our head, and this is the type of voice that over-criticizes, that sometimes tells me that everything is my fault, that I am not good enough. The voice that tries to talk me out of my dreams, the voice that tries to shift me to focus on fear rather than faith. And we all have this voice. We just have to make a conscious effort to fight it. We just have to make a conscious effort to shift this voice, to have an internal conversation with this voice. Like, is this true? Is this really true? What is a thought I'd rather think? What is a thought that's going to make me feel better about myself? Because if you're not going to notice this voice, this bully voice, it's going to get louder and louder and louder. Think of a kid who is crying, and you ignore this kid. They're just going to scream louder and louder and louder until someone finally sits with them and speaks to them. So, do not neglect this voice. Give this voice the space it needs, and have an internal conversation with this voice. Start shifting it with the ways I'm sharing here. Real quick, before we dive back in, if you have no idea where to start on your inner child healing journey, take my free quiz. What is your inner child archetype? You'll discover which version of your inner child is running the show for you, and you'll get personalized tips and suggestions so you can start applying right away. Just head over to my Instagram or TikTok, Evolving with Nicole, and you'll find the link to the quiz right in my bio. Jim Rohn talks about how our negative thoughts are like weeds in a garden. And if these weeds are not taken care of, they're going to take over the whole garden. Our mind is the garden, and those weeds are our negative thoughts. And if we neglect the garden, what happens is the weeds are going to take over. There's not going to be any flowers left. There's not going to be any life left in this garden. There's just going to be all these tangled weeds. The weeds will take over. The weeds will grow stronger and stronger and bigger until we finally decide to take care of this garden and start working with these weeds. The good news here is that any garden can be saved. Any garden can be transformed with some effort. In the beginning, maybe with a little bit more effort to take care of all those weeds, but by time it just becomes easier and easier. So before you attract the partner of your dreams, you have to start with you as the foundation first. You have to start investing in you. You have to start speaking kindly to yourself. You have to shift from shame and blame to kindness and compassion. You have to start saying no. Practice saying no in front of the mirror if need be. But you have to start saying no to things that drain your energy and yes to things that light up your energy. You have to start saying no to others and more yes to yourself. There's that little kid inside of you who felt abandoned, who felt neglected, who felt not wanted. The more you're going to say no to yourself to say yes to others, the more this little kid inside of you is going to feel unwanted, neglected, unloved, and the more tantrums this little kid is going to throw. The more sweets this little kid is going to want to eat, the more food and binging this little kid is going to want, the more lying down on the sofa, just watching a movie or just doom scrolling this kid is going to want, the more tantrums they're going to throw. So you need to really take care of saying yes to yourself more. Because when you say yes to you, you're saying yes to that little kid. That little kid is finally feeling seen, heard, loved, wanted. So it's going to need less chocolate. It's going to need less sweets. It's going to need less time playing on the PS. It's going to need less time doom scrolling. It's going to need less time beating itself up. So this is the way forward for you before anything else. If you want your outer reality to change, your inner reality must change first. You're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator. You have all the power within you. You have what it takes to manifest the life of your dreams. If you're not going to invest in yourself, if you're not going to sit with your loneliness, if you're not going to speak kindly to yourself, if you need someone outside of you to make you feel that you are worthy, to make you feel that you are loved, you're going to enter that relationship from a needy state. You're going to attract people who can maybe just give you some crumbs and they can't give you the full steak. You're going to enter in this relationship feeling insecure, so you're going to have trust issues later on. You're going to wonder, why does this person love me? Maybe when they see the real me, they're going to walk away. Maybe I can't be fully authentic. Maybe I can't be fully myself because even I don't love myself. Even I don't like myself. So how come this person is going to love me if I'm fully myself? So this is the work that you're going to have to do before you point your fingers outwards. This is the work that you're going to have to do before you blame others. And if you're going through a recent breakup, or if you're in a relationship and you're not feeling fulfilled, you need to refocus. You need to adjust your focus. You need to go inwards. It's easier to blame and to point fingers at others. Yes, I understand. It's much easier because then if we do that, it means that, I don't have the responsibility to work on anything. It's not me, it was them. They were rude, they were this, they were that. They were insecure, they had trust issues, they were avoidant, they were anxious, they were loud, they were self-centered. Okay, but if you're going to focus on this, the next person who's going to be in a relationship with you is yourself and not this person. So instead of overanalyzing this person, instead of pointing fingers at your ex, your current partner, whoever, go inwards. And ask yourself, how did I show up in this relationship? How am I showing up in this relationship? How would I rather show up? What is it that I always feel in every relationship I'm in? What is it that I feel when I am alone? How do I try to numb the pain? How do I try to avoid sitting with my feelings? You need to start going inwards rather than pointing fingers and blaming others. Because sometimes as humans, in order to avoid the work that we have to do, we'd rather point fingers or else find a new person and mask the pain with this new person, or else you have the choice to go inwards and finally sit with yourself, be kind to yourself, be compassionate towards yourself, to be able to heal those wounds that are attracting the same person in a different face over and over again, or to heal those wounds that are sabotaging your relationships, that are pushing people away, that are testing the waters. The peace you're searching for, the love you're searching for, the life you're searching for is found in the work that you're avoiding. And once you realize, this is a bit of a tough love, hard truth. Once you realize that you have all the power, you can change your life, that's when things will start changing for you. Until you're going to keep on pointing fingers, until you're going to keep on blaming others, until you're going to continue telling your friends and family how unlucky you are, what an a-hole the other person was, that you always attract bad people, you're not going to attract the partner of your dreams. You're not going to attract the relationship of your dreams. Start focusing on you. Start focusing on speaking more kindly to yourself, and you will see how many things are going to start changing for you. I believe in you. I genuinely do. My mom used to always tell me this thing, and now I want to share it with all of you. You can achieve anything you set your mind to. You are powerful. You are the creator of your reality. I believe in you. You can do this. Stop settling for less. Stop talking to yourself as if you are your worst enemy. I know I've been there, I've done that, and sometimes I still fall into these habits unless I am making a conscious effort to not do so. But You've got this. You've got what it takes to arrive where you want to arrive. I believe in you, and I just can't wait to hear all the positive results that you're getting out of this.